Hello, hello, hello. It's me. 7 of the best tools you can use to improve your art workflow today are completely free. The last one on the list is actually the most powerful and versatile piece of software I've ever seen. So it blows my mind that to this day it is still actually free. I'm Josh at Anesthetic Design. Welcome to the stream. I've been making graphic art for 20 years now, and there's never been more awesome free stuff available to assist you in your digital art journey. Thanks in huge part to the amazing developers who work tirelessly on open source software. That's going to be a big part of the conversation today. More on that soon. I think first I want to apologize. I feel like I have lied to you, and I have to admit that I only have 5 fingers on both hands. 5 fingers on both hands. You know, I thought it would make for like a funny thumbnail or something, but now I've put it up for the whole world to see, and I feel as though I've betrayed your trust. I hope we can move past this, and we can continue as friends, I would hope. So today, talking about free stuff that can help you on your journey, because our journey is an expensive one. After you've paid for the computer, you've paid for whatever software it is that you want to use as your main driver, and you've got your graphics tablet, you've got your keyboard, you've got your mouse. It's expensive, isn't it? So the more free stuff we can use to enhance our journey, the better. The first one on the list I'm going to talk about today is Pinterest. So Pinterest is a pinboard sort of mood boarding software. The first 2 are both mood boarding softwares. This Pinterest is a long-term one. The next is a short-term one that you use sort of per job. Pinterest is great for all kinds of things. It's not just for crochet patterns and baking recipes. If you search right now dark art or similar on here, you have a ton of cool stuff comes up, reference that you can go through and pin to your board. Let's try and pick some that hopefully aren't AI. I feel like the whole internet is overrun by AI now. Let's pick some cool looking painting-y ones, and have them added to our pins. So you set up a profile, and on the day-to-day you can search for things you're in the mood to look at and scroll through and add them to your board, your profile. And then within your profile you can then click to organize these into boards, so you can select this piece and this piece. That's a slop jockey piece. I love slop jockey. And add them to one of your boards you've decided to set up. And I've got one called character design here. I think they would fit best in there, so I've popped them into the character design board. And then you've got all your different boards here to look into. About should load more. That you've been putting together. For the inspiration, you could do it per project, you could do it over time. I like to do it over time. This is a fresh account I set up just to show off today, because my personal one has wedding inspo and all kinds of things on that you don't need to see. But so I might actually start using this one, actually, to be fair, because now it's just like completely dark art inspired. And you can search all kinds of different things, put them into all kinds of different boards, and keep it as a reference for, like, if I wanted to create a cool new logo, I might come in here and decide on some logo shapes. I'm sure that this one here is a view from the coffin one. I'm sure it is. Cool logo shapes, yeah. Cool border ideas that you could like copy and draw over yourself, or like the style of different bits and pieces. The reason I think it's worthwhile setting up a Pinterest account and using it instead of just checking out your favorite artists on Instagram, which you can do, is that here is just, it's just designed for mood boarding. It's designed purely for that, and it does it well. And on Instagram you can like save posts and stuff, but even once your posts are saved, you still got to scroll through a big list of them to see them all and stuff. Instagram doesn't work great on desktop. I mean, I know most people just use their phones 100% these days, but I use desktop a lot, so Pinterest works a lot better on desktop. And you don't get sucked into the whole like short form content, reels everywhere shizzle that's happening so much now on Instagram. I feel like it's so easy to go on and be like, oh, I'll just check out what such and such is up to, or I'll see these first few posts or whatever. And even if it's something like, when your business is Instagram, like many creatives, mine included, like you go on to post something and this and that, and you just get sucked into a world of forklift trucks, videos, people crashing into things, and stupid car races and things, and it's, you always promise yourself it won't happen, and it always happens. That's why I like using Pinterest. Long-term mood boarding, and reference that you can, yeah, just set aside some time to do some mood boarding, and you go on Pinterest and you do it instead of getting sucked into other things. The next on the list is a piece of software called PureRef. PureRef, all one word. This is a lovely little piece of software you can download for I think it is for free. I think when you go and download it, it suggests that you make a donation. You can put $0 if you want, as I did when I first downloaded it, and then once you feel like you've used it and you're getting value from it, you can donate to the software team, because obviously that's how they make their money. If we have a look at the little program itself, you can see here it is super clean, and it's literally as easy as just, if we just Google skull person, say if you were sculpting something or drawing something, working on a piece, and you wanted some reference of like what skulls look like from all different angles, you can just drag and drop stuff. Apparently from Google now it gives you 2 at once. I'm not sure why that is. Maybe that's the but yeah, you can zoom in and out, you can make different areas, like say there's part of my artwork is a skull, part of my artwork is a wolf. Not furries, that's not what I meant. Wolves. Yeah, real wolves, not wolf people. We don't need any of that. Right now, when I'm dragging them off Google, for some reason, it's giving me like doubling up on it. Maybe that's the thumbnail. It's like the large version and the thumbnail at once. I'm not sure. But it's easy to resize stuff and chuck them where you want. And then it's all just kind of like zoom in and out as you need, as you want. And it's a super easy to use, nice unobtrusive piece of software. Like I said before, Pinterest for the long-term kind of mood boarding, like look and feel style boards. This is very much like reference imagery for the piece that you're working on at the time. PureRef, it's called. The link is in the description if you want to download it. If you do get value from it, I'd recommend making a donation to the creators, because open source software gurus work tirelessly and thanklessly much of the time. For another cool piece of software to use, this is a drawing software. So if you have a little Wacom, a little tablet, a little Huion, a little what's the other brand that's big now? Can't remember. It'll come to me. Comment below your favorite brand of graphic tablet. Find my social easier. We have a comment. Pinterest account. If I make a Pinterest account, would people find my socials easier? Is it a good platform to promote your work? I don't use it for that. I think most people uploading to it are kind of taking other people's work and popping it on there as reference imagery they're using themselves. It's not really, in my opinion, somewhere that I would start uploading my work in hopes that they would come across my socials and find my Instagram or something via Pinterest. Possibly you could look into it more, but it's not something that I've been using for that, and it's not something that an avenue I'd recommend chasing. But thanks for the question, much appreciated. Yeah, Krita, the software we were just talking about, is for drawing, and I have it here. It's a very nice drawing software in general, not just like a good free software, it's a good software. You can see that 25 years. How have they been developing it for free for 25 years? I do not know. But the brush engine in Krita is wonderful and really nice to use. I've not got it set up for me to use at the minute, because I've been using, which one is that one for my drawing? I've been using Clip Studio, but that's a paid one. So if you want to use something free and something that's well liked and recommended amongst digital painters, Krita is really, really cool. And I always appreciate a good free bit of software that you again can download for free from their download page, which is in the link in the description. Thank you very much, Elif. Thank you so much. I appreciate the love. Yeah, any drawing software takes a while to set up, so when you just jump straight into it and start blasting away, it's not going to work straight away. But Krita, there's tons of cool brush packs you can find online. There's tons of artists on YouTube who are working in Krita where you can find really great tutorials, and lots of professionals who create full pieces in Krita. So if you need some drawing software and you're not sure you want to drop even more money on it than you already have on Photoshop and Illustrator, it's expensive. You can draw just straight in Photoshop if you have it, but like it's a bit clanky, it's very heavy software, and the thing that's cool about these specifically designed drawing softwares are that they're nice and light, and they have much improved ink engines. I think they're called ink engines which kind of simulate the way that the ink works on pages. So you can get brushes that work with paint, and it goes over the top of each other much nicer. I'll be doing a video on Clip Studio where I'll show you much more how that works. So yeah, Krita, if you're after a nice free drawing software. Let's find the next one. So the last two on my list are some 3D pieces that I use. I use these tons and tons. Almost all of my pieces involved Daz or Blender somehow. I like working in 3D to build base models because you can control the lighting. So I mean, you literally see on the website here, this lady under the UV lights. Because you can control the lighting, you get a much finer control over how your piece is going to look, rather than just downloading an image off the internet or whatever. Like, it's not just about the posing of the character, because you could just do that in Photoshop, but being able to control the lighting itself makes sure that you get your artwork looking the way you want to. I was amazed that Daz is free. Basically, the way they make their money is through the models and stuff. So you download it for free, and it is let's fire up here. You download it for free and pay for models and stuff you want to use. So for say for a piece, let's load up a thing here. I'll try and load up a character on the other screen so they're not like naked on YouTube and I get fired from my YouTube job. Let's open up lighting tutorial. Perfect. Yeah, being able to control the lighting, as I say, both in Blender and in Daz Studio. Let's viewport this, single view, there we go. So this is for a piece I'm kind of working on for next week's video. You can see here, you can load in a character, you can dress them up with various bits of jewelry and things. There are free resources you can find online for people who are either practicing their modeling techniques or just like giving stuff away for free. Do be careful about not downloading stuff that you should be paying for. There's quite a lot of that out there, unfortunately. People who've managed to download it either for free or they've paid for it and then they're making money off it through ad revenue or whatever. People like re-uploading artworks. That seems quite common in the Daz ecosystem. But yeah, you've got really nice 3D models that you can pose any way you need to through pretty simple. I think Daz, not only is it a fantastic piece of software, and made even better by the fact that it's a fantastic piece of 3D software, the fact that you can kind of, everything is quite simple, and you can, like, oh dear, sorry, that's quite scary, isn't it? Like, you can pose and manipulate characters that have already been fully rigged, and all that complicated side of 3D has already been done for you. You can pay a relatively small amount of money and get like professional grade models to pose yourself and then light yourself within the program. Like, it's a lot of the heavy stuff is done for you and you can just focus on posing and lighting, and it gives you a great understanding of 3D software, even though this isn't like the most powerful thing in terms of like creating your own stuff like a 3ds Max or a Cinema 4D or something like that, like industry standard things. It's a great place to start if you're wanting to get into like a 3D journey. I'm going to try not to sneeze. live TV, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry, I sneezed on camera. Right. Yeah, a fantastic piece of software, and is this... Let's open that one as well. There's yeah, tons of different stuff you can do with it. You can get mech characters, you can get animals, you can pose. The recent piece that I did for this guy, oh, that's a touch risque there, isn't it? That's good, some good positioning. Let's move that up just slightly, the camera. No, oh, he's got an out going on down there anyway, so we're all safe. Action man hero. But here's another piece where, like, yeah, it's posed, and then you can light it yourself. You see it's kind of lit from behind, somewhat with that rim lighting going on around the shoulder. This kind of area here. This rim lighting is really what I love to put into my artwork, and it pulls out that detail from the character kind of thing. When it's against the black background, having that rim lighting come from behind is a huge help for making stuff stand out. And like I said before, one of the reasons I love working with 3D software so much. So yeah, like I said, good starting point. If you're wanting to take your next step and dive into the world of 3D proper, some might say, is the final one on the list. And again, an absolutely bonkers piece of software, made even more so by the fact that, again, it is free. Blender, it is insane. As you can see, Flow, this full feature film that has come out recently, was literally made in Blender. So it's not like industry standard. Like if you were applying for a job as a 3D artist, they would probably ask that you are au fait with 3ds Max or Cinema 4D. But I mean, Blender is insane. You can do everything in Blender. It might just be like it's not got that final level of polish that those incredibly expensive programs have on them. But for a free piece of software, it blows my mind every time I use it. Which one is it? This one. Let's load up Blender. So I recently created the Impurist cover. Oh, it's here. It is because it's all gone. Will it show it on the camera? No, it doesn't think it's a person. You can see it there, and here it is in the flesh. Sculpted and painted in Blender. A free program, and I made that. It blows my mind that, yeah, this is a free piece of software. It is intense if you load it up for the first time. Like I always thought Photoshop and Illustrator and stuff were pretty intense pieces of software, and then the first time I loaded up Blender, I downloaded and loaded up Blender, and I looked at all the options, and I just uninstalled it immediately again, because I was like, I don't have time for that. But I mean, it's incredible. It's an amazing piece of software. As I say, if I open up another one I've got going on. One. So you see, this is another sculpt I did of a ram's skull, and you can see all these different things you can do across the top. All the tabs, like every single one is like a different level of what you can do. There's textures that you can apply to different parts of the object. Flying around everywhere. You can apply different textures to different parts of the object, different materials. You can paint directly on to your sculpt. You can animate if you want to. This one had an animation of it spinning around. There's like literal video editing within the software. You can use nodes. So these are visual nodes, are basically a visual representation of coding. That's my understanding of it anyway. A coder will tell me that that's absolutely not what it is, but like this is basically like a visual representation of kind of like your render comes out, what do you want to do to the render, and then you get the final thing. And you can use these nodes in the materials as well to make things look like chrome, or look like bone of a skull, or look like some shiny teeth, or look a little bit subtly see-through like a skin is. Like the amount of detail in the program is unbelievable. I use it primarily for sculpting. You start with if I start a new one here, a new sculpting one, you start with this little bowl of clay, and you basically just from there, you just start manipulating it and making it your own, and just turning it into I mean, this looks like Geodude already, doesn't it? Like, yeah, open it up, fresh ball of clay, start sculpting, and then after however many hours you've spent on it, you end up with something that looks like this. Again, I can't stress enough, from a free piece of software. Blows my tiny mind. That is the most powerful piece of software on the list, and it's free, which is nuts, but it also has an incredibly steep learning curve, in my opinion. I think that's just true of 3D software in general. If you're wanting to get into 3D and learn 3D, you're just going to have to dedicate a fair amount of time to it. I decided during the grand old days of lockdown, when there was nothing better to do, that was going to be my learn, and it served me well. If you ever get a brief from a client where they're just like want something very specific, I mean, maybe if you're an illustrator, Krita will probably serve you better. I am an illustrator as such, but to get to that finished piece that I'm looking for, I feel personally more comfortable in 3D and then applying those textures later down the line, which is why I gravitated towards it. Again, you can control the lighting and everything completely within Blender to make sure that your render is perfect. And then if you get it in Photoshop and it's not perfect, you've already got the file for it on your computer, so you can go back and change the lighting and render it again, and Bob's your uncle, you're all sorted. That's why I like working in 3D, and that's why I use these two, mostly those last two on the list, free pieces of software in my workflow, an absolute ton. And it helps offset the horrendous expense of everything else in my setup. I hope that you found this list useful. I have a potato PC with an i5 GTX 750, 12 gig of RAM. Can I run this program properly? What you can do with Blender is you can run it to a certain level. I have it both on this main PC, which is very powerful, but I also have it on this little Surface laptop. It's disappeared. This little Surface laptop, which I think is also an i5 and integrated graphics as far as I know, that runs Blender. It will not make a crazy high poly model like this that you see on the screen. It would just conk out, but it can run Blender and it can do some modeling and it can do a bit of sculpting. So if you're wanting to just get used to the program, I think if you got a bit of a potato PC, all you can do is try it out. I mean, it's free, isn't it? So you can, if you do find that it doesn't work, then is there like a minimum specs at all? Perhaps there's like a minimum specification or recommended specification or whatever, but I think I don't see anything obvious. But like I say, just give it a download, give it a try. It works on my little 10-year-old laptop. 10 years old. Oh, that was really cool and new when I bought it, and it's already 10 years old. It's mental. But I mean, yeah, that's a 10-year-old i5 with integrated graphics, and it works on that. Maybe it doesn't go all the way to some crazy high poly model stuff, but it gives you enough to get started and get the basics going. And then down the line, if you manage to get a few upgrades in your PC and stuff, you can start working on things a bit more if you decide that 3D is the way that you want to take it. Because unfortunately, there's no two ways about it. If you want to get into high-end 3D, you need a high-end machine, but that can come later. You might try it, decide it's not for you anyway. That's the cool thing, the coolest thing about free software, is being able to try and have a play around before you really commit anything massive. Well, or not anything massive, not anything at all. Yeah, that wraps up the list today. I hope you found the list useful. I hope you can use some of these tools in your own art journey. Leave a comment below if you find anything useful, or if you have any other suggestions for other people to try out, or me to try out. Maybe it's something I've missed. But yeah, if you are also a digital artist like I am, you can check out my website in the link below for 15% off all the elements and things you see me using in my videos, textures, fonts, and things like that. Like, subscribe, and all that jazz. I will be back at a similar time next week. Hope you have a good one. Cheers.